Hi again, thanks for coming back. I'm Stephen Wessner, CEO of Predictive ROI. The topic that I want to cover today, well, the reason why I decided to title this video as the ROI of Thought Leadership is because I think that there might be, I don't want to say confusion, but I think that there's maybe some apprehension, maybe confusion, maybe that's the right word, apprehension on the part of business owners who are thinking, yeah, you know what, conceptually, I like this idea of getting really good around my thought leadership, like really trying to focus on building my thought leadership, building a reputation, building authority around our niche in this space. But, is that really going to drive my business forward? And if it would, I'm hearing some rumblings that it might. If I do that, is there a recipe? Are there some ingredients that I can follow in order to maybe assure my success by going down that path? So that's what I want to cover with you here is there ROI to your thought leadership if you do that well? Yes, you can absolutely generate a return on investment on your thought leadership. The three ingredients that I want to share with you today are an important part of the overall recipe to doing that with excellence. So let me share these three ingredients. This also syncs up nicely with the solo cast that we aired on Wednesday, just yesterday. If you're viewing this video on Thursday the 18th, then we aired a solo cast on Wednesday the 17th around the same topic. Really went deep. One of my longest, deepest solo casts that we've recorded and aired to date. So let's break down those three ingredients. The first ingredient is point of view. And what I mean by that is getting really clear and also being bold enough and courageous enough to communicate and share what your point of view is. So you do that by sitting down and asking yourself as well as asking your team a few questions and not accepting surface answers. For example, why is it that we do what it is that we do? And why is it that we feel so compelled to serve the clients and customers that we feel compelled to serve? And why do we serve this group of customers, but why not this group or this niche or this industry? And why do we feel so passionate about the work that we do? Like deep in our core, like we're almost compelled, and maybe we are compelled to do this work. For example, I feel compelled that predictive ROI be of service to business owners because I know the struggles of entrepreneurship. My family immigrated here from Greece and Istanbul, Turkey. We understand the sacrifice and the struggle and how hard it is to build a business. We get it. It is part of our DNA. It is the fabric of who we are. Me and my 9 cousins, us 10 grandkids, we've all been business owners. We've all served our clients and customers with passion. We all want to see our clients and customers do well because we understand how hard it is to achieve success. We're grateful for our aunts and uncles and our grandparents who went before us to give us the opportunity to have the type of life that we have today, and we take that very seriously. And so we feel like we're honoring that legacy by being committed to serving who we are here to serve today. It is an honor and a privilege to be in the trenches with predictive ROI clients every single day because I feel to some extent that we're paying homage back to that legacy. You have a similar story, and it may not be an immigration story, but you have a story in your business as to why it is that you do what you do, why you feel so compelled to do it. And so understanding that, articulating it, you and your team really crystallizing that is not only going to be helpful for you around the table. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, you're doing some things, maybe even subconsciously, but then uncovering that might be one of those big aha moments, as it was for me when I really did this soul searching and uncovery. And then that's the first step. The second step then, after you are courageous enough to do that work, and I say courageous enough because that might be really emotional work. That might be having to come to grips with maybe a loss or a failure, maybe some success, or a loss or a failure or a heartbreak or a something, maybe a tragic event that really shaped where you are today. So doing that courageous work and then being bold enough sometimes bold enough to share that with your customers, clients, and prospects. Not as a catchy promotional thing, but as a way of really sharing who you are. So that when they hear that, or when they see that, or when they feel that from you, their response is, oh my gosh, she gets me. Like, she understands me. Her point of view is similar to mine, or she had similar experiences that I had. Like, you will show them that you and your team, you're part of their tribe. Like, you really understand them at a deeply personal and emotional level. But it starts with you first. You and your team have to square and really understand your point of view, your story, who it is you're here to serve, why you're so committed to serving them, why you feel so passionate about doing it, who you're not here to serve, because great marketing also attracts and it also repels the clients and customers who are not ideal for you. Not that they're bad people, but they're just not your right fit client. They're not your ideal client. Getting clear around your point of view enables you to be attract and repel at the same time, which is great. So the first ingredient to the ROI of thought leadership is point of view. Point of view is number one, getting very, very clear about your point of view. The second ingredient is then creating weekly cornerstone content. Doesn't matter if that's a blog, a podcast, video series, doesn't matter. Articles, doesn't matter the shape, form, whatever the hub is of that cornerstone content, but creating cornerstone content every single week around your point of view so that you're literally, figuratively and literally planting a flag deep in the dirt, like firmly in solid ground, and saying, this is what we do, this is who we do it for, this is who we don't do it for, and this is why. And then in that message, you're being helpful to your audience. You're being helpful, helping them move their business forward. So when you get clear about your point of view, and then every single week you come to your audience in this act of service by being helpful to them, it's not about monetizing your audience. It's about being helpful to your audience. When you do that on a consistent basis, then what you're going to do is build an audience. You're going to build a nation of true fans. You're going to have more people surrounding you, listening to you, downloading your content, giving you feedback through email and social and so forth, where they're going to say, oh my gosh, Sarah, Jack, thank you so much for that latest episode. That helped me in so many ways because of this, and the other thing. Or when you shared that story about that loss or that success, I identified with that in this way. You're going to start planting a flag deep around your point of view, what you stand for, and building an audience around it. Okay, so that's the second thing. So the first ingredient, again, is point of view. Second ingredient is planting a flag through your weekly cornerstone content. The third is, once you do 1 and 2, then you will have opportunities to monetize. Now, when I say monetize, that sounds so bad, doesn't it? It sounds so bad to say monetize the audience, as if now all of a sudden you don't care about them. You're just trying to soak the money out of your audience. And that is not it at all. But you can monetize your content through, maybe it's sponsorships, or you're monetizing audience through, maybe it's a workshop or a new book. Now, is everybody going to buy your new book? Is everybody in your audience going to buy your new book? Of course not. A large chunk of them will, because you've been so helpful to them, maybe over a year or 2 years, maybe it's been 3 years, and now finally you're asking them for their support. There's going to be a large chunk of your audience says, heck yeah, I've been looking for ways to support you. Of course I'm going to buy your new book. Not everybody, but a large chunk of them will. So you can monetize your content through, like I said, sponsorships. Maybe it's workshops. Maybe it's a new service offering or new product offering, right? Maybe it's you're going to sell to the guests who have been on your show or part of your weekly blog because you've developed that relationship. It never felt like biz dev, but you developed that relationship on the front end. Go back to our previous video, I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago, when I talked about the new and improved Trojan horse of sales, how you can use your content as a Trojan horse so to open new relationships with prospective clients without it ever feeling like biz dev. So there are a number of different ways that you can monetize your content. But you cannot do that until you've first gotten clear about your point of view, and second, till you have created weekly cornerstone content that is helpful to your audience. Once you do those two things, then yes, monetization opportunities do become available to you. So I hope that that was helpful. Please do leave me your comments in the fields below. I always want your feedback. That helps me get better each and every week. Until next week, double down and onward with gusto.